In 1984, epidemiologist Anna Fedorova loses her assistant when a vaccine trial goes wrong. Feeling guilty for authorizing human trials without preliminary or animal testing, Anna wants to cancel the project, but Colonel Yuri Morozov prevents her. He argues that canceling the project wouldn't make her feel better, and the soldiers in Africa need it. If she gives up now, her friend's death would have been in vain. Months later, Anna spends New Year's Eve with her family and friends, who congratulate her on the vaccine. The dinner is interrupted by a call from Morozov, who needs Anna for a special mission. There was an incident at the Kola Superdeep borehole. Noises were heard and people disappeared. The station will be closed in 24 hours. The head of research was reported for withholding data about a supposed unknown disease, which is why they need Anna. Morozov promises her credit for the discovery and the position of head of the Military Biological Defense Institute. Anna accepts and prepares to leave in the morning. Anna arrives at the station with Morozov and a group of soldiers led by Major Sergei Mikheyev and his right-hand man, Igorov. As soon as they land, they face their first problem. A scientist escaped from the station with a grenade and detonated it near the helicopter. The group hears a buzzing in their ears for a few seconds, but fortunately, everyone is fine. Anna wastes no time and examines the scientist's body to collect a sample while Sergei jokes about her accent, trying to guess where she's from. The sample, however, turns to dust as soon as Anna places the lid on the test tube, and she notices a strange red glow on the body. One of the station guards explains that the scientist went mad as soon as he reached the surface and was so strong that not even 3 soldiers could stop him. The rest of the team is being evacuated, so Anna rushes to collect samples from them before they leave. One of the men warns her that everyone down there is dead and that the disease is a lie, advising her to go back to her family. All the miners seem fine, but one with a scar saw something that terrified him, so Anna begins to think it might be more than just a disease. Afterward, Anna, Morozov, and the group of soldiers enter the station with Chief Scientist Pyotr Kuznetsov and Dr. Dmitry Grigoriev. Anna tries to ask questions about this mysterious infection, but Grigoriev refuses to give details, thinking everyone is there with ulterior motives. He will only help enough for them to get a sample and ensure a safe evacuation for the survivors, nothing more. Anna wants to know why he locked up the survivors, but Grigoriev doesn't answer that either. The group reaches the elevator where Grigoriev must be careful when entering the access code, because if he fails 3 times, the elevator drops as a safety measure. Fortunately, he succeeds on the 3rd attempt, and the group begins to descend into the deepest man-made hole. When they reach the level, the brakes don't respond, so Grigoriev depressurizes the elevator and puts on an oxygen mask while the rest of the group passes out. When they wake up moments later, Grigoriev has fled with the elevator key. They seem to have arrived at the facility's rest area, where the team lives most of the time. The main research level is even further down, and there's a second elevator that can take them there, but they can't activate it without the key. That area used to be full of people all the time, but now only 2 employees remain: Engineer Nikolai and Dr. Kira Vidalievna, who stayed behind during the initial evacuation. Kira takes them to the laboratory, so Anna can take samples from both and analyze them under the microscope, confirming that neither of them is infected. It seems Grigoriev planned everything and left them in that area on purpose, as it's free of any signs of the disease. Now they'll have to look for a source of contamination elsewhere. Speaking of Grigoriev, he appears before Anna and asks her to take the team back to the surface through the shafts and save themselves while they can, because people should always be the priority. Anna calls the soldiers to capture him, but before they arrive, Grigoriev escapes through the elevator, leaving only a bloodstain on the door. They decide to send a group of soldiers led by Igorov through the shafts, which need to be forced open as Grigoriev had sealed them. While the soldiers put on protective suits to withstand the extremely high temperatures of the lower levels, the shaft doors open on their own, revealing laboratory assistant Olga Kolova, who looks very ill after walking through the heat to reach them. The soldiers rescue her and take her to the laboratory, then descend through the shafts. Before starting the examination, Anna asks Olga some questions, but she doesn't remember what happened below. Olga has a fever, although she says she feels cold. When Anna removes Olga's gown, she makes a disturbing discovery. Her back is covered by some kind of mold growth that Olga claims doesn't hurt, even when Anna makes a cut to take a sample. As the soldiers report finding some kind of life on the lower level, Anna places the sample under the microscope and discovers that it's a cellular parasite, a highly virulent form of mold. Fungi and mold are the least studied life forms, and this one is unknown. That's enough for Morozov to shut down the operation and begin preparing for withdrawal. Nikolai begins working on the elevator system to force it to return, which will take over an hour. Sergei tries to contact his team again, but it seems they're in trouble, having seen something dangerous and no longer responding on the walkie-talkies. At that moment, Grigoriev contacts them over the loudspeakers and tells them he hoped they would escape through the shafts, but now he has no other choice. Grigoriev then detonates a bomb to seal everyone inside the facility, apologizing, and Anna remembers her own guilt related to the vaccine. As the area begins to shake due to the explosion in the laboratory, Olga's body begins to glow, and she slowly loses control, breaking the glass and attacking Kira. Meanwhile, Nikolai discovers that the explosion damaged the pressure pump and will cause the facility to collapse in an hour. He wants to find a way out and doesn't care about the soldiers trapped in the lower levels, which makes Sergei punch him. Morozov agrees that going back for the soldiers is too dangerous, so he will escape through the shafts. Sergei goes with Anna to the laboratory to rescue Olga, and they find an unpleasant surprise. The place is covered in mold, and Olga is melted on the floor, but still alive on the other side of the door. Morozov doesn't care that Anna is surrounded by contamination without protection and orders her to take samples anyway. As she and Sergei approach, Olga begins to release a cloud of spores, so Sergei runs out and Anna grabs a mask to avoid inhaling them. It's then that she finds Kira, who is also infected and mutated like Olga, and dies when her bones suddenly protrude. Anna tries to leave the room and has another guilt hallucination as she slips, but that leads her to find a fire extinguisher. She uses the extinguisher to clear the air around her and manage to open the door without letting the mold escape. After closing the door, she asks Nikolai to use the extinguisher on her body to disinfect her. Then Anna goes to check on Sergei, but it's too late. He's infected and has lost his sight. When she tells everyone about Kira, Pia explains that it's not supernatural. This mysterious mold is like the fungus that takes over an ant and makes it return to its nest to release spores and infect others. Anna asks to speak with Morozov. It dies when exposed to cold and has been using human bodies to survive in the permafrost layer. She wants to stay with Sergei to look for the last survivors, while Morozov returns to the surface and calls a rescue team, but that's not even an option. The facility will be closed in 5 hours, and no one is coming. Morozov asks them not to open the door, even for them. After much discussion, Piet reminds them that this is their only chance to survive, so they decide to open the door anyway. They send 3 soldiers down the shaft to investigate, but 2 return shortly after shooting something large that tried to attack them but couldn't be identified. The 3rd soldier also returns without an arm and ends his life using a knife just before the group closes the door. Whatever is in the shaft now knows they are there and begins to pound on the door, trying to get out. The group runs to the back of the area and sees that the elevator finally arrives. Nikolai begins working on a way to make the elevator fall, hoping the emergency brakes will work. Sergei's body begins to glow, and he knows he doesn't have much time left, so he decides to stay with his men to try to stop the mysterious entity that has finally broken through the doors. Anna, Nikolai, Piotr, and Morozov get into the elevator and hold on as it begins to fall. The pressure makes it difficult for Nikolai to reach the brake lever, so Anna must get up from her seat and pull it herself. Fortunately, she succeeds in time, and the elevator lands safely on the lowest level, which is colder than they expected. All the rooms are covered in ice, and a recording of a scientist explains that he also discovered that the mold is weak to cold and that the Ice Age kept it trapped underground for all those years. However, sooner or later, it will discover that the permafrost has an end and will be able to escape. This thing has already learned to melt bodies together to warm itself and gain power. That's why the group doesn't find survivors. They are trapped in the wall in a large mass of mold that died from the cold. Morozov goes into the 200-degree area to try to retrieve the elevator key from Grigoriev. While they wait, Anna asks Nikolai and Pyot not to say anything about the mold when they return to the surface, as that would bring more people to investigate, endangering humanity. Nikolai agrees, but Pyot hesitates because he hoped to make a great discovery that would put him on the map. When Morozov takes too long to return, Anna decides to enter the hot area without any protection, as theoretically the human body can survive there for a few minutes. As blisters begin to appear on her skin, Anna finds Morozov dead on the floor, as his suit was sabotaged by Grigoriev. At least he has the elevator key in his hand, so after seeing the mold glowing on the walls, Anna takes the key and runs back. Nikolai tries to help her, but Pyot suddenly shoots him in the leg and demands the key so he can leave and gain the fame he deserves for this discovery. They hand the key to Pyot, who takes both of them in the second elevator, holding them at gunpoint. When they return to the resort level, they head to the first elevator corridor to investigate, and Pyot tries to leave Anna behind to enter the elevator alone. However, he is suddenly attacked by the strange entity from the well, a disgusting creature made of the infected team members, all melted into a single organism. They are still alive and screaming as the creature kills Pyot. Anna flees and hides in the dining room, but the creature follows her, so she grabs a knife and enters the freezer. There she has an idea. She takes off most of her clothes and pours a bucket of ice-cold water on her body so that her temperature is too low for the mold to infect her. Then she goes out and crawls under the creature to take the elevator key from Pyot, who was also absorbed, closing the doors behind her. Anna runs out of the dining room and finds Nikolai so they can escape together. However, the creature finds them, breaking through the wall, and both run to the elevator and manage to close the doors just as the creature tries to reach them. The elevator begins to ascend, but Nikolai and Anna have one last surprise. Sergei is there with them, melting on the floor and begging them to do something as he coughs up spores. Anna stops the elevator because she doesn't want to take the mold outside, but Nikolai doesn't want to die there and activates it again. The two begin to fight for control of the elevator, and when Nikolai is about to kill Anna, Sergei makes one last effort, raises his arm, and uses the exposed bone to kill Nikolai first. To show her gratitude, Anna tells Sergei that he's from Yugoslavia and kisses him before going back to work on the elevator. Anna remembers that entering the wrong code 3 times makes the elevator fall, so she begins to press the numbers, which is harder than it seems because she is also infected and her body has begun to glow. The first 2 attempts go well, but on the third, she only manages to put half of the wrong code when the elevator reaches the surface, so she has to fight the rescue team members to press the final numbers. The elevator initiates the self-destruct sequence and falls while Anna leaves with a new team in a van surrounded by soldiers. She takes the opportunity to steal a grenade from them and gets out of the vehicle as soon as they drive away from the facility. Seeing that more scientists are arriving, Anna approaches and detonates the grenade, connecting with the beginning of the story.
If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.